Alright, what is going on, guys? My name is Leo Master. Welcome back to another Overwatch League video. And today, guys, bring you guys another top 10 video once again. And we're going to bring a video that I think is going to be an interesting topic, which is top 10 players that need to be in the Overwatch League. Now, we'll say before we go into this is actually a list based off people who were actually in Overwatch League but no longer are in Overwatch League and I think deserve to be in the Overwatch League kind of conversation. Now I do know you can also make another video like this that is almost like contenders players, fully. I did one of those in the past like a year or two ago, but now I'm going to make a video about players that kind of were in Overwatch League that still I think need to be in the Overwatch League because I definitely think they deserve it and they can definitely play up to that level that the Overwatch League has gone up to. To start off at number 10, and number 10 is going to be Ben Best. I think Ben Best definitely deserves to be in the Overwatch League, especially how he really impressed a lot of people last season. Season 2 was really not that good for Ben Best. Everyone thought he was going to get released, after how bad his performance was on Season 2. Then Season 3, on Paris Eternal, basically a whole new Paris Eternal, really got revamped, for the Rush coaching staff, also the players around him, really made Ben Best on the player we thought he was going to be in Season 2. And Ben Best comes into Season 3 and just dominates, and now he's not on a team anymore, and I definitely think a lot of people will agree that he deserves to be in the Overwatch League one more time, even if it's not under Rush. He could definitely go on teams, maybe like Paris again. I would not be surprised if, Ben Best did get picked up on Paris once again. I wish they kept him, honestly. I think Ben Best could be better than Dan at some point, but it all depends on what could happen. And on top of that, maybe London Spitfire and some other teams, maybe like the Atlanta Reign. I think Ben Best definitely deserves to still be in the Overwatch League based off what he played last season, and I definitely think he'll do good if he ever joined the Overwatch League once again. But we'll need to see how he goes. He's in the Overwatch contenders right now. He is doing good there. And hopefully he makes his way back up in the Overwatch League. Maybe we'll see some expansion teams next season or Season 5. I definitely predict we'll see expansion teams probably Season 5, but who knows what's going to happen there. Now on to number 9. Number 9 is going to be Note, actually. I definitely think Note is actually a solid player throughout his entire time in the Overwatch League. Boston was a great season for him, Season 1. Season 2, it was probably his weakest season out of all of them, but still ended up picking it up near the end of the season. Then you have Season 3, who he was honestly like a solid near top off tank last season, for the Dallas Fuel, playing him Gamsu. Maybe that was a big point, why he was good. You played him beside Gamsu because he looked good with Gamsu in Boston. And now Note, not on an Overwatch League team right now, making this video, of course, and who knows where Note could go. I looked at all the teams, and the only teams that really kind of like shouted out something was honestly maybe a team like London or Paris if they wanted to get Note, or maybe Vancouver. We could see who takes that spot, Fried or Note. I would not be surprised that Vancouver did pick up Note if Fried did not end up working, which could be a chance, and I'd love to see Note on that team. Also Note is Canadian, and Vancouver Titans, obviously, Canada with that as well. I would love to see Note on that team, and I think he'll do a good job in the Overwatch League if you've ever got the chance once again. Now to number 8, and it sucks on what has happened to this guy, but number 8 is going to be Pakpo. I wish we saw this guy a lot more last season. I said it a lot before. Season 2 was really good for Pakpo, playing beside Dako as well, playing that main tank position, and we didn't really get to see it in Season 3. We had all the hype of Gator and Hawk, and they did not really perform that well. Then you have Pakpo sitting on the bench the entire season till last second, almost, the last couple of weeks at the Overwatch League, and he got some playtime, still looks solid for playing last second, and I definitely think if he went to a team that really is in desperate need of a main tank, maybe like the Vancouver Titans, Pakpo could really dominate on that team and help that team out by a lot. I definitely think Pakpo, probably on the lower teams, could definitely help out a lot, especially the Vancouver Titans. I love to see Pakpo on that team. And maybe on the Toronto Defiant, if anything goes wrong with Sado, I love to see Pakpo on that team as well. But I definitely think Pakpo deserves to be in the Overwatch League as well. Then on to number 7, I have Kyokyu, and I think everyone expected Kyokyu to at least stay on the Spark, but that did not end up being the case because they did a whole new roster thing of 12-man roster. They have Liga and Bernard now on the Hangzhou Spark, but Kyokyu, I will definitely say, was not a top-tier off-tank as everyone expected to see, but Kyokyu was kind of a solid middle-of-the-pack off-tank, and not the best, not the worst kind of off-tank in the game, but I definitely think he is Overwatch League level at the same time. Now, what team could he go to? It's hard to say. It's always going to be the lower tier teams, I'm going to say, because a lot of teams, and especially in the Overwatch League, the off-tank position is really stacked. So it's really hard for these old off-tank players to try and get back into the game, and Kyokyu is going to be one of those, like with Note as well, and I do have some more off-tanks in the list, but Kyokyu, I definitely think still deserves to be in the Overwatch League. That could be expansion teams whenever that does happen, or maybe some backup things. You know, maybe he needs to be on the Toronto Defiant. Maybe Michelle will not perform that well, and Kyoku could go there. Maybe that'll be a plan that's already in the way for Toronto Defiant if anything happens with Michelle. Kyoku still really good. I haven't heard a word from Kyoku since he kind of got released from the Spark, but we'll need to see what goes on later. Now on to number 6. I think a lot of people expected to see this player on this list somewhere, and yes, it is going to be Sanguinar. I think Sanguinar was such a good main sport, really underrated, really surprising. You know, basically being a full-on rookie, it kind of felt like. Now going into the Atlanta Spitfire, playing with these professionals that he has not really played with before, probably other than ranked, of course. But Sanguinar really impressed a lot of people, a lot of teams, a lot of coaches. And I definitely think he has a shot to come back in the Overwatch League at some point. If there's any main sport issues on teams, maybe the Vancouver Titans, if Fire does not work out that well. Sanguinar is still playing the game too. He was just picked up on O2, and I definitely think that's a good move for him to get some more eyes on him. You know, he was really unknown, playing for the Seoul Dynasty Academy of an academy team, it felt like. And now he went on the London Spitfire. Showed good performances there. Now in O2, him going on O2 will give him some more eyes, and I think Sanguinar will have a chance at least next season or this season right now. Now in the number 5, this guy, you know, was kind of up and down last season, but I still think he deserves it. It is Nene, you know, previously on the NYXL. And I definitely think Nene, I don't know if he said anything just yet if he does want to keep playing the game or not, but Nene was a top hit scan player ever since he really joined Overwatch League, and especially in contenders. When he first got on XL2 Academy, he was insane. This was one of the scariest players in contenders, and I still remember every cast with ZP, you know, talking about Nene all the time. I watched every game of Nene. He was insane on the Tracer, insane on all the hit scans. He came in the NYXL. You know, he had some up and down performances, but Nene still performed at a high level, still on the top of the leaderboards and stats and all that with Nene, looking good, just playing the game. Nene still deserves to be in the Overwatch League in my opinion. I definitely think a team right now that would love to have Nene is the Dallas Fuel. Now, if anyone watched the most recent tournament with Dallas Fuel, Guangzhou, Seoul Dynasty, and also the Shanghai Dragons, Dallas Fuel was really lacking a Tracer player, and Nene really do a good job on the Dallas Fuel. Now on to number 4, we have McGravy. Actually, I definitely think McGravy is one of those players that really was the first person to come to my mind making this list, and McGravy was an instant one. McGravy was really good last season. Definition of solid, at least. I wouldn't say top tier. And I was really excited to see McGravy play last season. You know, I watched him a lot in contenders, you know, through his way Team Envy, and also went to Florida Mayhem. He looked good there with the matches he did play. Then he was obviously traded to the LA Valiant, benched, and I was really waiting to see McGravy play that one day. And he did play, but it was kind of like the last game of the season. And then he ended up getting his playtime in Season 3 because Space was traded to the LA Gladiators, and McGravy performed well throughout the entire season. Especially near the end of the season, he really looked top tier that he could be, but unfortunately the season ended, so we couldn't really show those top tier performances. But McGravy is definitely one of my favorite off tanks when it comes to the game in general, and I definitely think he could join many teams, and that could be like the Atlanta Reign, that could be the Vancouver Titans. This guy could definitely upgrade many teams that need an off tank right now, and I'd love to see what McGravy could do on those teams. I definitely think he could come back in the Overwatch League, especially if it's under the right team. You know, it needs to be the right team McGravy to join, and we'll need to see where that goes, obviously, but we gotta wait and see. Now on to number 3, I will have my explanations while saying this. I maybe should even put him lower, but Rascal is my number 3, not 1, not 2, and the main reason I have Rascal, a lot of people would say really low, maybe even lower I should say, is because Rascal, with his most recent stream, he said he had a lot of offers from teams, a lot of big offers, but he also said his motivation for Overwatch is kind of going down. So that didn't want to make me put him 1 because we don't know if he wants to be in the Overwatch League or not. And, you know, he kind of denied some offers from like Toronto Defiant, and he hasn't gotten a word back from the Washington Justice. So it's weird to see and also talk about Rascal and what he wants to do, but I still think he needs to be on the list somewhere. He's not going to be 1 or 2. I'm at least put him 3 because that is somewhat high and probably a lot of people would see low, but that's the reason Rascal is number 3 because we don't really know what's going on with Rascal right now. Now on to number 2, it is going to be Meko, obviously from the Houston Outlaws and NYXL. Meko was a top off tank almost all of last season. I say almost because his first couple of weeks, maybe even months, were really rough. But as soon as those months went by, Meko was performing at a high level like he was on the NYXL. Probably not as high as that, but obviously because it was the Houston Outlaws, because he couldn't really perform as much because he had limited resources, but he still performed at a high level with players like Dante beside him. And I definitely think he deserves to be in the Overwatch League, 100%. There's a lot of teams that would probably love to have Meko right now. The one team that really comes to my mind is the Philadelphia Fusion. I'd love to see him with Mano once again. That is the tank duo that really worked with NYXL in the early days, and now there's Poco and Mano. I don't know if that's really going to work out that well, but maybe it will. But I personally love to see Meko being picked up for the Philadelphia Fusion, playing beside Mano, and that tank duo would honestly work once again for the Philadelphia Fusion. And if not that, Meko could join many other teams. Maybe he wouldn't want to join the lower tier teams, as we heard, I think, from Halo of Thoughts. He wants to be on a high tier team, but sometimes you got to go in those low tier teams to get on that high tier team again. But Meko definitely deserves to be in the Overwatch League once again. I think all of y'all know what my number one is now. It is Libero. Libero is my number one right now. Libero is just, why is this guy not in Overwatch League? Why did he not get any playtime last season? This guy's a top flex DPS player of all Overwatch League, it's felt like. Season 1, 2, 3, and hopefully 4. You know, hopefully he gets picked up for 4 because he's insane on all the projectile heroes in the game. Can play a little bit of hit scan. I wouldn't prefer it, but he can play some of it. And Libero just needs to be on the team. He needs to. There's so many teams that would love to have him. Almost every team in the Overwatch League would probably love to have him. You know, there is some that already have 12-man rosters and already have the flex DPS players they need, but Libero could definitely find a team and dominate on that team for sure. Maybe even the Philadelphia Fusion, maybe the Washington Justice. Like, why is this guy not got picked up for the Washington Justice yet? They still have Tuba. I don't think that's going to get you that far, but Libero would definitely just massively upgrade the Washington Justice, and I just love to see him in the Overwatch League once again. But yeah, that is my top 10 for players that need to be in the Overwatch League, specifically players that were in the Overwatch League that I think still deserve a chance to be in the Overwatch League right now. But yeah, that's my list. No Contenders players, but maybe some other time for sure for Contenders players. Anyways, guys, it's going to be it for me. If you guys want to stay more in tune with Overwatch League news and Overwatch League stuff in general, don't forget to subscribe down below. Also, don't forget to join my Discord down below as well. And don't forget to follow my Twitter and my Twitch. And don't forget to hit that bell. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.